Hey guys, welcome back to Unexamined. Doing something a little different today. Typically, when I do these videos, I try to write out a long script ahead of time and do basically a video essay on a particular topic. Um, but today, with recent events going on and everything, I did want to just take a few minutes just to talk about everything that's happened in the last few days with the uh, riots in the Capitol. I would even argue to call them a very pitiful attempted coup. And I just wanted to talk about it for a second because I think that there's some things that just aren't being said and aren't being recognized. And in my hubris, I feel like I'm special enough to talk about it. So I just wanted to put some thoughts out there for you guys to chew on and see if anybody else was kind of having the same mindset as I am. Anyways, this is going to be candid, probably with only a handful of edits. If I start rambling, I'm probably just going to leave it in. But I just wanted to share my thoughts and see what you guys think. So obviously, as we all know, on the 6th, Trump supporters overthrew the Capitol. Overthrew is a strong word, but they broke into the Capitol building during the process of verifying the Electoral College vote and tried to dismantle it and basically force a stop to our democratic action. And it's probably evident by the title of this video. I don't inherently disagree with the concept. I'm sure a lot of people may actually strongly disagree with me on this, but there is actually a lot of things for them to be wrong about. That's going to get edited. There is actually a lot of things for them to be angry about. We should be angry that Joe Biden is the next president-elect because it's frustrating that we ended up with another corporate politician who doesn't represent any systemic change when Donald Trump was the reactionary response to the exact type of politician that Joe Biden is. They should be angry that our democracy doesn't work the way that it should. They should be angry enough to want to storm the Capitol and just about overthrow it because our congressmen, our senators, our House of Representatives don't seem to have our best interests at heart and aren't actively seeking to help Americans through this pandemic. There's so many reasons why it would be genuinely excusable to want to burn the whole thing to the ground, quite frankly. There's plenty of things to be absolutely irate about. And the thing is I think Trump supporters are actually pretty close to getting it. Obviously, the big disagreement is on the man himself. But most Trump supporters that I interact with, they're not Republican, they're not Democrat. They're people who specifically support Trump. And they support him not because, he's some messiah god, but because they believe that he represents their interests. They've been conned into thinking that this man actually does care about them, despite all evidence to the contrary. They see the type of politician that we typically have, the dishonesty, the lying, the cutthroats of normal politics, and they see that you have this ill-spoken, ill-mannered man who comes in and doesn't look like the rest of them, and they think he represents change. Now, obviously, it's not the right kind of change. It's not what we want, and we absolutely don't want a fascist coup to be successful and overthrow democracy as a whole. But the point here is I've seen a lot of leftists online kind of being angry that there wasn't stronger police violence against the MAGA supporters and the MAGA crowd. And I think that that's a misstep, personally. I disagree fundamentally with the MAGA crowd on almost every single issue. And my largest source of anger for the events of the previous couple of days doesn't come from the fact that the MAGA crowd is so misled and so brainwashed into believing that Trump is on their side. Dogs. To me, the thing that makes me the angriest isn't the fact that MAGA supporters were able to breach the Capitol. It isn't the fact that MAGA supporters were angry enough to try and riot against the system. Because, in all honesty, they're pretty close to being right. You know, if they could come to the realization that Donald Trump is a con man and realize that the entire system doesn't work exactly like they think it doesn't work, that our democracy is one of the worst in the world as far as democratic power of the people specifically. You know, if the MAGA crowd was able to come to that realization, I think that they would be a lot closer to wanting to overthrow it for the right reasons. But the problem is they've been misled. They've been abused and manipulated by a con man. And, you know, if con men weren't any good at being con men, then there wouldn't be con men, if that makes sense. There's always going to be people who fall for con men. And in my opinion, it's our responsibility to try and protect and try and help people who fall for that, for people who fall victim to the lies of this type of person. And to try and do our best to enlighten them, I guess I'd say. The point here is I've seen a lot of leftists online asking why there wasn't more police violence. And granted, it's infuriating to see the level of violence that was levied against Black Lives Matter protesters and Antifa and anyone on the left who tried to stand up for equality and rights, and then to see fascists and white supremacists basically able to march in with little to no resistance to try and overthrow our Capitol. That's insanely infuriating. To call it angering is an undercut. You'll have to pardon the dogs. They're not going to be quiet. But anyways, I wanted to get it out there that our anger shouldn't be with the people who are tired of the system and want to overthrow it, because like I said, they're so close to being right. It's depressing. There's so much about our system and about our government that needs to be dramatically changed and reformed to the point where some sort of overthrowing it almost feels necessary at times. I've seen a lot of people calling them traitors and calling them all sorts of things, and personally, I don't view the term traitor as a derogatory term. Our country was founded by traitors, and sometimes rebelling against something that's evil is worth doing, and I don't think being a traitor to that is a bad thing. So anyways, the point of this video is not to say that the Trump supporters were right and that they were noble in their cause, but just to urge reflection. None of us should be calling for more police violence. We should be actively seeking to reduce the monopoly of violence that the state has. We should be actively seeking to reduce the power that the police have over all of us. And frankly, I wouldn't personally call for any more authority or power being given to the police than has already been done. So that's really where I'm at, and I just wanted to kind of speak on that. I know that this is very different and it's a lot more candid. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it causes some reflection and that nobody feels I'm out here being too sympathetic to the worst kind of people. My ideology, my belief is that the reason people are so willing to vote against their own interests is because neoliberalism and capitalism have basically forced the majority of our population into these echo chambers and these closets where all they hear is the same thing that their neighbors and their friends are saying. And I just think it's important for us to recognize that, and to recognize that these people, as misled and as misguided as they are just as much victims of the capitalist propaganda machine as anyone else is. It doesn't mean that we're going to be able to reach all of them, and it doesn't mean that some of them aren't absolutely terrible people who want fascism for fascist reasons. But I think a lot of them have been brainwashed to get to this point. And I think that they more so deserve our sympathy than our anger. And I just haven't seen a lot of that reflection online. And I wanted to put it out there and see what you guys thought. As always, I thank each and every one of you for supporting me and watching these videos and being here to hear my thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments down below. And if you have anything to add to this topic, like I said, a bit of a different video today. I wanted to be more candid and not necessarily speak from a script, but just speak from what was on my mind. I'll probably do this anytime that there's a current event. I'll probably try and do it in this format. Still growing, still trying to learn how I want to communicate things on my channel. And anyways, I'm rambling, so thank you guys for being here.